All right, guys. In our last discussion, we stopped at the configuration of Cloudtrail as well as the SNS alert. So today we'll be talking about the events bridge. So in the song, we need the events bridge, and these serve as the name implies, bridge. It helps to bridge the alerts with the kind of services we want to create alerts for. Say, for example, we want to get alerted when there is a certain change on the S3 bucket, or there's a change on the EC2 instance, or what kind of, even when a user logs in or signs in, you want to create an alert. So the event bridge helps to create a bridge between these services and the the cloud trail as well as the alert system. So this is what it does. So we can create between EC2, the cloud trail, as well as a SNS alert and any other kind of service. So let us configure our events bridge, which we're going to be doing now. And we have a service called the Amazon Events Bridge. Just type in events bridge. Uh, and so the service tab, click on Amazon Events Bridge, and it takes us to the dashboard of Amazon where it creates the rule. This is where you create the rule that you want to implement. So you click on create rule. So and for rules here, we have to merge the events with a certain trigger as well as the target. So what do we mean? You see that in this you have two boxes that you have to complete. The trigger events, what will trigger these events, and what are the targets. So don't forget that we have created a topic under the SNS, and the topic refers to the kind of alert you want to create. So we named it, I can't remember the name, like more of a certain topic, and you need to do that when creating the SNS alert. So in the Taco define, the first thing you need to define is the triggering events. Say, for example, you want to set an alert when there is a change, a certain change on the S3 or on the EC2 instance, for instance. So how do we go about that? So on the left-hand side, you see AWS service events. You can click on this, and this displays all of the different events and services you have on AWS, and you can, choose as appropriate. So in this case, let us create a bridge between the S3 and the topic. So how do we do this? You find S3, simple storage service. We can click on that. Uh, Hold on. Let me explain here. Okay, so this is what I need. So I type in S3 into the search bar, and you find this S3 simple storage service, and I want to expand it. So what we want to do, don't forget that what we're doing is we're creating a link between the service, CloudTrail, as well as the topic. So that's exactly what we're doing. So we want to create an AWS API call via the CloudTrail. So when you know that when any activity is done on, if a particular user does anything on their console, there's a trail that captures all of these events and logs them. And we need an API call to trigger an alert. That is exactly what we want to do. So we'll drag this AWS API call via the cloud trail. We'll drop it under the event here. So that is a triggering event. Again, we when you do this, you notice that a particular pattern has been created. So you find the JSON script for this here. And this is easy to read. Let us understand what we have for this event pattern. You see that the source of this alert is going to be the S3 for AWS. The detail type is we want to have an AWS API call via the CloudTrail system. So when the CloudTrail captures anything, we want there to be an API call. Then the detail is um, the event source is going to be S3 AWS. Let's go. So now for this part, you can now set folder the when you want it to trigger an alarm. For example, I want to put a comma and I want to hit enter. Then it takes me to the next line. And here I want to configure the events name, uh, events name, and the events name now would be something like, I'll open this. This would be, I want to use enter as well. So I want it to be trigger when a particular user tries to create a bucket, when this user tries to create a bucket, or when I put a comma or hit enter, or when this person tries to delete a bucket. So this is how we just write this. So these are the two instances where I want to um, create an alert when the user tries to create a bucket or when they try to delete a bucket. So I want there to be an alert. So this is done for this. Then what is going to be the target? So I'll click on the targets tab here, and the target definitely is going to be the SNS topic. So you find the SNS topic here. You need to drag that into the specification. However, so when you do that, you scroll down, you find the target configuration here. Target in this account, of course. Now we have to select the topic. You want to click on the drop down. So you can create different alerts for different services. You can do it together, you can do it for one, however you want it can be done. So we're choosing the topic we had created, which is the resource alert we have created in the past. And unless we're done, I will click on create. And once you give this rule, don't forget the event bridge under the event bridge, we're creating a rule. We're saying the alert rule. And you can just skip all of these. I'll go to click and create. Okay, great. So we've been able to create an alert. So let us create another kind of alert. Let's show another instance of creating rules on the Amazon Events page. I want to click on Amazon Events page on the top left corner here. Then I want to create another rule. And this rule, say for instance, you want to merge two different kind of what's it called? Two different events together. Say here, I want to expand this, and I want to say, let me look for EC2. So this. Under the EC2, I want to create an AWS API call via CloudTrail for the EC2. I can do this just like I did the S3. However, if you want to merge it as well, you can do that. Let me search for S3 or IAM. So under the IAM, I want to expand as well. So I want to create an AWS API call via CloudTrail for. So I can drop both events here. I create a trigger for both of them. So the next thing will then be I want to scroll down. Now you find um, now you find JSON script for that particular event. So now you notice something. You see that we're calling two APIs here, API for the IAM and APS for EC2, API for EC2. So what is going to happen here is when either of these condition is met, an alert is triggered. When either of them, not when both of them are, when either of them is met, an alert is triggered. What do I mean? If you look at this place, you see that this schema or this JSON script is saying or and not and. So there is a difference between or and and. So when it is or, it's saying it means that at least one of these rules should be met, one of these events. If it's not IAM, if it's EC2, if it is not EC2, it should be IAM. At least one of them should be met before an alert to be triggered. But if you use and, it means that both of them needs to be met. Both rules need to be met before an alert is triggered. Make sense? Good. So, you want to finish. So we have two sources, AWS IAM and AWS.EC2. And you see that the event source for this is this. You can do the same when a user tries to create a group, create user. You can just add all of that. And so the target here definitely is going to be the SNS topic. And you have to choose a particular topic that's you've created, or you create a new SNS topic using this, and you create your alerts, you create your rule rather. So this is how to create both events bridges on the AWS. So in the next video, we'll then now start applying different policies to different users within the console.